Welcome to BJJ Boost episode 5. Today we're going to do another one-on-one coaching call. One of our users inside the app, Chris, who's actually one of our first users to sign up. He's from California, which is a really cool thing to me to think about because like our first call was with Adam, who is from our Terre Haute school, and I already kind of knew Adam, but Chris, I don't know Chris at all, and all I know is a little bit of interaction and watching his progression on the app and having some back and forth conversations here and there. But I've actually never talked to him, and I've never had a I don't know anything about him essentially. So to me, to see him invested in the app and invested in improving himself and making the one-on-one appointment so that we can connect and try to find a way, whatever it is that he wants to go over, and be able to give him some answers and hopefully unlock his ability to start expanding his life or expanding his goals inside the app or on the mats. So we're gonna make that call right now. And like I said, all this is live. None of this is edited. We'll just see how this goes, and we'll take it from here. So let's give Chris a call. Hopefully all the audio and everything will be good here.
Hello?
Is this Chris?
This is.
Hey Chris, how's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
Nice to officially talk to you. I just started the podcast probably a minute ago, and I was letting everyone know that I actually don't even know you.
Right.
You've joined the app, and we've had a few conversations, and I've watched a little your progress, but I actually don't know anything about you except that you're
Okay.
from except for that you're from California.
I am.
So the weather's a lot nicer out there, I assume.
Yeah, it's about 65 right now and overcast.
Yeah, well, I like to go to like Dana Point. Where are you at in California?
I'm in Temecula, so Riverside County, South Riverside, kind of towards San Diego County in between.
So that's probably close to Dana Point. I think.
Yeah, if I go over the hill, it's about an hour drive.
Oh, okay. Wow, it's amazing to me how long California is.
Yeah.
Like one time I was like, I want to take my family to San Francisco, and it's like 8 hours, and you're like, what? Like it looks
Yeah.
like it's just right there.
Yep.
So what made you join BJJ Boost?
Just kind of searching around for a good app that has useful information, and I kind of stumbled upon it and gave it a shot, and I really enjoy it.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome. So how long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
um, since the end of January of this year.
Okay, wow. So you're still pretty new.
Very new.
And you've learned that it's not the gentle art.
Yeah, I've had some bumps and bruises along the way already, and I'm 40 now. I turned 40 this year, so
Oh wow, me too. I didn't know that. That's cool. So I started jiu-jitsu at 29 years old.
yeah. I wish I could have started sooner, but you know what they say: the hardest thing is to get your white belt is walking in the door.
Yeah, what's funny is that there's a lot of truth to that. There's a lot of truth to it's not really the gentle art, and there's a lot of truth to getting off the couch and starting to take some type of action in your life is like one of the hardest things to do, whether it's jiu-jitsu or anything. It's amazing how we just get stuck as humans, and we want to just stay kind of in the same place our entire life, and we allow fear to kind of control us. What
Yes.
what made you jump into jiu-jitsu?
I've been wanting to. I actually have been doing CrossFit. I don't do CrossFit anymore. I did CrossFit for about 9 years, had my level 1 certificate and a judge's certificate, so I did some judging and competitions and had a good time with it, but there was a jiu-jitsu gym a couple doors down that I always told myself I was going to go and give that a try, and I ended up meeting my wife and buying a house together and getting married, so I kind of gave up CrossFit for a little bit. And then, my wife got pregnant, and I told myself I need to become a better husband and a good father, and this is something I want to do to strengthen myself in every way that I can.
That's pretty awesome. That's actually a really cool story because it's like it's cool to see that you're willing to say all that and to realize all that and now to start like building your life. So what do you feel like what do you feel like made you want jiu-jitsu? Like what did you wrestle before? Did you do any grappling? I mean, how did you hear
Not
about it?
really. I mean, watching UFC and seeing it and seeing how it works and watching stuff on YouTube.
And is your
Um,
academy, is it a, like every academy seems to be different. They all have their positives and negatives. Is it an open atmosphere or is it a pretty closed, you show up and this is what you're going to learn or this is what you're going to do?
it's pretty open. So it was Fight Sports Club Temecula,
Okay.
and then just recently they changed over affiliations. Now it's Atos Temecula.
Okay, that's cool.
So they were. I don't know the story behind why they changed, but there's a couple things that have changed. Like we have a couple new different black belts that are coming in and teaching classes. Ronaldo Jr.
Yeah, he's
from the Atos to San Diego.
does he come in there
And
and
then,
visit?
yeah, he's there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
That's pretty cool because I mean a small like do you follow Daisy Fresh at all or Pedigo submission
I
fighting?
do.
So,
Absolutely.
so Andrew and Ronaldo, they went back and forth many, many times, and I definitely know
Yeah.
I don't remember where it landed, but I know that he won a few and Andrew won a few, and I mean both of them incredible athletes.
Yeah.
But that's cool that you have him and you have other people at your disposal to get really good technique because sometimes that can be hard in the sport. Sometimes there's schools out there that you go to those schools and you're just limited to the curriculum that they offer you. It's like, okay, for this entire month we're going to do arm bars or for this entire month we're going to escape mount. And I can see the positive in that when you're a new student, but when you are actually wanting to dive in like I couldn't imagine playing a video game or playing a card game or getting into some passion and someone telling me, well, like, look, for the next 5 years, you're only allowed to do this. And it's like, well, I like this better. Can I play this? And they're like, no.
Yeah. And we have gi and no gi classes different days of the week, so it's cool to kind of be able to do both.
I think it's a good balance. I think it allows you to stay in the sport year round and not get burnt out as easy because we do like 2-3 days of no gi, 2-3 days of gi, and it's a different sport. It like you don't get burnt out so easily. I mean, I'm on the mat 6 days a week, so like sometimes that burnout shows up when it becomes the most repetitive thing in the world. But to switch it up is neat. So what do you like more?
Right now, I think gi because I feel like I have more tools to use.
Yeah, definitely. I think the gi's a
Um,
good one to start with. I mean, I definitely I started with a little bit of no gi and then I got into the gi and I ran with the gi for a long time. I mean, I think I was really passionate about the gi for about 4 or 5 years.
yeah.
So let's dive into exactly where you want to go with this call. What are you looking for out of this call, or what are you looking for out of the app, or where you want to go with your game?
Obviously, I want to get better. I want to be proficient and have as many tools as I have to, at my disposal.
And
Getting
how
everything to stick seems difficult sometimes. After the fact, I'm like, oh, I didn't have that grip right, and that's why that sweep didn't work. And I catch myself Monday morning quarterbacking myself more than often.
um so you're roughly 9 months into the sport. You're doing how many days a week would you say you're able to train?
On average, probably three.
Okay, that's still pretty good. I mean, especially with a
Some
family and work and
Yeah. Well, I actually work really close to this gym, so I go straight from work, train. A lot of times I'll go early. I'll jump in the beginners class
yep.
and use that as a warm up and just brush up on a lot of my basics and kind of help out some of the newer guys. Not that I'm anything good to help out, but just to be there.
No, I think that's
Um,
important. I really do. I think it's important that people don't realize it sometimes, but like to just show up and be present. Like, a lot of times when I make some of my students become like kid instructors, right? Like their
Yeah.
technique gets so much better because I remember, I'll never forget it, but like my best friend Derek, he wasn't super into jiu-jitsu, but he didn't really pay attention to it. It wasn't really his thing. But as soon as he started teaching kids class, like he became really hyper focused on technique because you see things and you have to repeat things often that you don't normally do while you're training. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're training, you're just
Yeah.
analyzing yourself. But when you're sitting there analyzing someone else and you're like, no, you hold the hand this way. No, you hold the hand this way. You know, with kids class, I'll repeat myself 12 times in one little period and it drives me nuts, but it allows you to hyper focus on the technique a lot better.
Right.
So,
And then I've been doing private lessons with the original coach that's still there, Allison Costa.
okay.
He's a brown belt. So usually Saturdays I'll go and do a private one-on-one with him.
That's awesome. So roughly 3 days a week you train. Um,
Yeah.
Mostly
On
gi.
yeah. On weeks that I do the double classes, I don't really count the beginner class as much, but I'll do the beginner gi, and then the class that follows it is fundamentals no gi or all levels no gi.
And when you're live rolling, how many live rolling rounds do you think that you might do in a month? Have you tried to ever look at that?
I've been trying to keep track of it. I haven't really got it
It's
dialed
fine.
yet.
I didn't do it for 10 years. I didn't do it till I got this app. I never even thought about it. Like I would just show up and I would train. Um, and I'm just kind of like I'm really anal when it comes to wanting my technique to be like that top level, so I drill a lot. But I never really analyzed how many live rolling rounds I was doing, and then I kind of realized that I was really just existing on the mats more than I was actually like making the effort to hit certain goals.
Yeah.
Like I set a goal for 100 live rolling rounds, and I didn't know whether that was a good goal or a bad goal last month. But then I think I hit like 146 live rolling rounds for the month, and
Okay.
it's kind of cool. Whether that's a huge benefit or not, I don't know, but I think that if I wouldn't have tracked that and I wouldn't have put that goal in there in my mind and in the app when I did the little monthly blueprint, I don't I would be curious where I would have ended up on rounds. Like in my mind, I've kind of had a crazy month this month running around and allergies have been killing me. So like I'm way behind on my rounds this month. I think I'm at like 80 rounds for the month right now compared to, last month I was like on fire. I'm going to hit these daily goals to make sure that I'm able to hit my goal. And I think that's a
Yeah.
cool thing to shoot for, just to know for your own self. Because I think a lot of times what I see, especially with newer students, is they show up and maybe they're not having the success they want, right? Like they lose 5 rounds in a row and they get discouraged and they kind of like sit on the wall and they show up in a way that they're looking at it like, okay, I'm losing these matches. I'm getting smashed. I'm not getting anywhere. And they get like really discouraged and they count everything almost as a loss. And then before they know it, they're only putting in like 10 to 20 rounds a month, let's say, where the person like with the mindset like I don't care if I lose or win. My goal is okay, I have to hit this Kimura trap series that I've been working on for the last month, or my goal is I'm going to make sure cuz like right now my big focus is destroying the knee shield. So like I'm forcing everyone to put me in the knee shield. I don't care if I get swept, I don't care if I lose on points, I don't care if I get submitted. I want to have 150 knee shield experiences this month so that I get more confident and I'm more dynamic in knowing how to stop the knee shield or at least how to negate it so that I'm not just getting my ass whooped basically from it.
Hmm.
Does that kind of make sense a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Um, so where do you think we can take your game to help you kind of get to the next level? I noticed there for a little while you were checking in and you're enjoying the spider guard parts of it.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like your game is right now, or where do you feel like you're struggling, or whether it's mentally or physically in the sport?
Right now I'm doing good. This month, like you said, has been a hard one. I was sick for a week, The baby got sick, then I got sick, my wife was sick, so I took about a week to get better, and then I've been super busy at work. We had a big event where we had to take and get one of our vehicles done into a show, so that took some time. So now I feel like the last few days I've been back at it. About maybe 2 weeks now.
I do. It's
Getting back
amazing how
in.
life just kicks your ass, isn't it? Like it just
Yeah,
when it like and that's how it is. It's like your kid gets sick, and then you get sick, and then your wife gets sick, and it's like this massive loop where you feel like the world is just gonna end. And I feel like that right now. I feel like you get to a good place, and then you get to another place where you're like, I just need a break.
yeah. Or you get a kind of a stiff shoulder or a stiff wrist, and I feel like that takes me down a notch. Some nights I do really good, and some nights I feel like I'm just getting nailed.
So what you said something about getting a car ready. What do you do for a job, if I can ask?
I build off-road race cars.
Really?
Yeah. So
That
we build and race. We also build high-end sand cars. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Glamis.
no, but that sounds awesome.
Yeah, sand dune cars, big horsepower, 1,500 horsepower twin turbo.
What got you into that?
Um, just being around it growing up, being around the desert in this area, it's kind of popular down here. I went to a welding and fabrication school when I was about 22, and then I've been doing it ever since.
Man, that's cool. It's cool to just think that to build this app and then to meet someone that you've never met across the entire United States, and then to hear their story to me is a really cool thing. It's just whatever I am as far as this app. Like I think that's awesome. Like I don't even know how to begin to build a race car or to do any of that, but that would be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I actually ride in our trophy truck, race truck, and navigate. So I keep the course on GPS, call out turns, and our top speed's about 140 on the dry lake beds, and we go through 3.5, 4 foot whoops at 100 miles an hour. And I feel like sometimes I have more anxiety walking in the doors of the gym than buckling in a race vehicle.
That's funny and awesome all in one. Do you have any videos of this?
Oh yeah, there's videos. If you look up Dale Dondell,
Can you
Racer Engineering,
can you send me a link like after this podcast, and I'll try to watch some of it because that
absolutely.
that sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
So if you've ever heard of the Baja 1000, Vegas to Reno, there's a few American races and there's a lot of Mexico races. So we'll go down to Mexico and race.
Wow. All right. Well, I won't get too far off topic, but that was
Yeah.
intriguing. That was really cool. So what can I do to add one thing to your game? Like, what's one thing that you think could help you that will help make you a little bit more confident on the mats or get your game to the next level?
Oh man, that's a tough question.
So like right now, I'll throw out some different ideas. Like when I designed this app, there's a lot of things that I've done in this app that I didn't expect. When I first made this app, I actually had no intention on doing the app. Does that sound funny? Like I was
Right,
like,
right.
because I've been following Garrett White, and he has basically a daily task of what he believes humans should do to obtain success, and I liked his process, so I integrated like a lot of his thoughts with jiu-jitsu, and I created this app. And then as I started doing the app, I kind of like fell in love with the process of trying to achieve, for the most part, I try to achieve 6 of the 8 things every day, right? Like
Yeah.
I can't drill every day, and I can't live roll every day. At 40, depending on our circumstances, that can be, so I try not to put like too much insane pressure on my brain where I burn out and I don't like the sport. But I look at it like I can choose one person in my life every day to compliment. Like that's not a hard thing to do, right? Like every day I can pick one person that's in my circle and try to figure out how, like, why am I grateful for them or how to give them appreciation. Like the meditation thing, I have ADHD and I never in my life thought that I would actually enjoy meditating. I didn't think that I would actually be able to shut my brain off for longer than 5 seconds to meditate. But in the last year, I've spent this year trying to learn how to meditate and calm my emotions down and be more focused and intentional. Like those are two things that I can kind of do every day. The journaling process, I was never a journaler. Like I didn't really think the value of journaling mattered. Um, but it's kind of like helped me process. I do a lot of more life journals than I do with the jiu-jitsu journals in the app, but it's allowed me to kind of process my emotions and set my emotions off to the side so that I can get out of my head and I can like be more focused on whatever I need to focus on. Um, but aside from that, like I didn't expect to track my daily rounds or to think that having a monthly blueprint would matter to me. But it kind of like actually motivated me to a different level, and I've actually been more intentional when I show up on the mats at like, all right, you know what? I got to get these 100 rear naked chokes done for the quest. Cuz it's funny, but like I think if I don't live by the exact code in the app, right, then I think I'm cheating myself and I'm cheating my users. So like
Mm-hmm.
for the backpack, I like the backpack. It's like one of my favorite backpacks that I've had. But I was like, I'm not just gonna give the backpack to myself. Like I have to earn it. So like now I've been going through the quest and now I'm on 1,000 triangles and I did 100 triangles last night in class before I started teaching the class. And then we dove into 18 live rolling rounds. So I was able to knock out the 100 triangles, and then I was able to get 18 live rolling rounds for the night, which was kind of cool because when I put those in the phone, not only can I go back and look at those anytime that I want, I can feel like I actually set out a goal for that class, and I didn't just like show up and say, well, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps you at all or not, but
Yeah. I'm very much the same way in, you know, focusing and staying, like, keeping my mind settled is hard. Usually I have to be active, either tinkering with something that is kind of soothing and calming to me to work on stuff. So to sit still for very long is a difficult task for me.
yeah. And do you feel like the expand tab helped at all a little bit? Just trying to learn one
Yeah,
new technique a day?
yeah, yeah. And then keeping it in the back of my mind that, I need to check in and try to hit the goals on there. Sometimes I don't really have enough that I feel to say to count, but I guess really anything is better than nothing. So maybe I'll focus more on getting some of them knocked out more frequently instead of waiting for something monumental that I think is worthy of a post.
Yeah, the big thing that I do right now is like I signed up for AOJ online, and no one has to do that, but I've really enjoyed AOJ's technique aspect of the sport. I like their approach. So I just like in the calendar tab, you can like load a video every day for like 2 weeks. In like every day, I just have to watch one video, and then I have to screenshot like exactly like the other day I was watching Cole Bate, and the way that he had the back control, and then the way that he was like manipulating his opponent's hands. So he was basically, when he's grabbing down on the hands, he's grabbing like right at the wrist, and you'll be able to see this if you watch the podcast. But as he's grabbing the hands, he's like pulling the hand out, right? So it's like forcing the opponent to have to push the hand down. And a lot of times when I was controlling the back, I was only controlling the back by like literally trying to grab my own hand and hold the seatbelt control on instead of thinking about how to like manipulate my opponent's hands so that I get them to react the way that I want, so that I can either maybe trap their arm or I can advance the position and keep like climbing. So when I did, I think it was last year's Gi Pans, I faced, I know I'm probably gonna mess up his name, but Juicy Air Flamigo. Flamigo. I mean, he fought Henry Ciotta to a decision in the UFC, and he was the first person to actually tap me out at black belt, which I guess I can take that loss. I don't think that's a bad loss, but
Yeah.
the way that he climbed on my back was like beautiful. And I think sometimes people don't realize that our losses teach us so much more than our wins, right? Like so many times, every time I've had a loss, I like to see, like, I analyze how I lost, and then I immediately try to start applying that to my game. So when I was trying to defend his hooks on getting his feet off my back so that I could escape, he's like climbing up my neck, and he's like his hands are working. And then when like I'm attending to his hands, like his feet are climbing. So like no matter where I was going, I just felt like I was drowning the whole time. And it was just really neat how like he had a system built to just constantly make me feel like I was drowning at that level. Just that it really made me appreciate how the technique of the sport continually evolves no matter what rank you are.
Hmm.
So I don't know if this call is helping you or not, but I
Oh,
do
absolutely.
I do appreciate the call for sure. And I don't know if we'll pull off the BJJ Boost Camp, but I'm pretty excited if we do it because I've got a lot of cool ideas to make it work. You know, if it works out. Um,
Yeah.
I this mansion that we found here in Illinois, like it's this guy basically like in the early 1900s traveled from this bigger town and he built this giant mansion with like 15 miles of land that he used to walk
Wow.
every day and he like built all these statues. So I just thought, you know, like I can rent the library. Like they have this old two story library, you know, like where the you have to have the ladder to climb up to the top to get a book.
Oh yeah.
And I thought if I could map all that and I could set up like a really cool armbar mastery camp where like you come into the camp and you get all this exclusive gear. Like you get an exclusive tracksuit, a no-gi outfit set, you know, your own backpack, everything just only for people that attend that camp. And then to be able to like do hikes together, to be able to have, you know, 3 training sessions together, to be able to do like just small little challenges that will get us outside our comfort zone and to bond us together, I think would be a really cool example or a cool process to do if I can pull that off.
Absolutely. That would be so cool.
So whether that happens or not, we'll see. I just got to keep marketing it, and you know the app is only 2 months old, and I think
Okay.
sometimes you know we as humans want to we want to progress further, we want more success, or we want to reach more people faster, or you know like whatever it is in our jobs, we want it to get to that next level, and sometimes just enjoying the process is really hard, at least for me. You know, like
Yeah.
instead of you know I want to have 1,000 users and I want us to be traveling all over the United States learning jiu-jitsu and becoming better humans. Like that's what I want as my end goal. um, and sometimes we can go nuts when we're sitting here like, you know what, I have to start with one person and I have to start with one daily task, you know. And to me, like having the phone call with Adam the other day and now having the phone call with you, I've enjoyed the process. I've enjoyed getting to know your life journey and getting to know kind of where you're at in your life and in your jujitsu. And I think I didn't expect that part of the app either. I just built this app thinking like we're just gonna hit daily tasks. But now to sit here and actually be able to learn people's lives and see these conversations, it's opened another part of the app that I've absolutely loved.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
So
It's cool seeing it.
we've got 3 minutes left. What anything else that you want to go over, or anything that you can pick my brain with? I mean, you of course can message me anytime, but while we're on the show, what anything you want to say?
Drawing a blank. Um, any tips, I guess, to get further along quicker or to make it an easier road ahead?
How well are you drilling right now?
Pretty good. You know, every now and then I'll end up with a drilling partner in class that's kind of not there all the way, and it kind of sucks. Sometimes I get a great one, so I'll try to make sure I am looking for who I want to drill with. That seems to help.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a good drilling partner is one of the hardest things that you can do. If you can find a really good drilling partner, that will take your game 10 times to the next level. I promise. Because right now my number one drilling partner is Brandon Wells, and he started with me like kind of this. The cool thing is like I'm 136, he's 136. Like we fluctuate between 136 145, and it's cool because he dove in and then like he became one of my best friends. But I will drill, you know, 1,000 arm bars on him. I'll drill, you know, 50 barambolos on him. Like whatever I want to drill, I can have him show up early, or or he'll stay later, or whatever the case is. And we're the same body size, we're almost the same age, And now he's like followed my competition path of like he whatever I'm doing to get ready for competition, he follows it. And now like he's won the Nogi Worlds and the Nogi Pans at blue belt
Wow.
and purple belt. So like it's cool to see that he's taken my formula of how I drill and how I train and he's copied it and now he's like basically followed in my footsteps. So
Yeah.
I think finding a really good drilling partner that's your size. It sucks having drilling partners that aren't your size because
Yeah.
it's harder to do the techniques. You know, you just get some random person that's 50 or 60 pounds bigger than you, and it's like everything feels forced. So I think one
Yeah.
is like really trying to find a drilling partner that you can trust. I don't know how easy or hard that might be, but you'll have to go out of your way a little bit and like try to recruit them and try to like text them or communicate with them. But I think the second thing is communicating with your drilling partner. Like being genuinely honest, like, hey, look, I need your body to sit like this. I need you to do this. And it's like anything, like whether you're boxing or even in your industry, like when you first start doing it, it feels so forced, you know?
Mhm.
But then in like 6 months or a year, it feels like it's second nature. So just like anything, like just like you're building your game, you have to build your drilling partners. And I don't know how easy or hard that will be for you because every academy is different. But for me, like I have 3 or 4 really close students that are close to my size that I try to text, at least every couple days and communicate with them on, hey, let's show up 10 minutes early or hey, let's stay 10 minutes late and let me get these 50 arm bars or let me get these 50 knee cuts and I just need you and adjusting them every time because I think sometimes as partners, right, we do the motions but we're too scared to tell our partner like, hey, I need you to keep your leg up like this or hey, I need to keep
Mm,
your
yeah.
feet off the mat or hey, I need you to hold this grip like really hold it, not sit there and or I need you to stop resisting. Like that's a big one. Like I see a lot of drilling partners put a lot of resistance and tension in and it's like, look, this isn't the time to resist. This is the time that we're trying to learn how to do a dance and synchronize the dance so that we get best form. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think
Yep.
people understand how to communicate with their drilling partners. And I think if you can communicate, and if they don't want to listen, then that clearly tells you to throw them out and find a different drilling partner. Um, and like I said, that might be different at where you're training. I'm not 100% sure. So,
Yeah. I've had it both ways. Good ones and some that are kind of just going through the motions. And a good one to me is someone who can do the drills at a good pace with good resistance, and we can knock out 10 or 15 of these in the 2 minutes versus the other guy that is slow to get back up, slow to take position again, and then we only do 3 or 4, and I'm like, I missed out on half of them there.
yeah. Yep. I definitely see, and I feel bad as an instructor too sometimes because as I analyze myself, I have to analyze myself as a student, right? Like I'm still trying to learn and improve myself. I don't want to be that black belt that shows up and thinks that I know it all, right? So I'm trying to learn something every day, but like I also see my students where they have been paired up kind of in the situation that you're saying right now and they don't get the full potential to improve themselves because of the situation that they've been paired up against. And
Yeah.
I never really analyzed that until probably you said that right now, which is kind of probably sad and weird all in one. But it is. It's such a hard thing to get because you only get what is showing up in class, right? It's not like we get
Yeah.
like this perfect lineup of human beings where we're like, all right, that's what we want. So I definitely can see the frustration in the sport, and the only thing I can say is try to find a few people that you can genuinely connect with, and find a way to drill more reps. Like this is the one thing that I can try to leave the show with, and maybe this will help or not help. But let's say we're doing the triangle, right? Let's say you're triangling an opponent. If that person has drilled 1,000 triangle defenses or 1,000 triangle escapes, and you've drilled 10 triangles in your career, who's more likely to have success?
The guy who's drilled more.
So I think the big thing is we just got to figure out how to make sure that we put the reps in, and I think that's kind of why I like tracking the drill tab right now to like know that okay, I hit 3,400 drilling reps on top of everything else that was going on in class. Like I went out of my way and accomplished 3,400 reps for that month. That was like Americanas and I think I did Kimuras and and all of these things. Like you just gotta simplify them and get your body to get moving in that motion more than just trying to like perfect every detail. Like I noticed when I did 10,000 ankle locks, the one big thing that kind of like opened my mind was at 7,000 is where I really started feeling like the perfection and the technique. Like biting on the ankle, pulling my elbow behind my back, like sticking my chest out. Like the first 3 or 4 thousand reps were just garbage. It was like me just doing the motion. But it wasn't until I got up to around 7,000 that it really felt like I knew exactly how to like bite down on the ankle and secure the ankle and to keep the right amount of pressure. So I think a lot of times we put in 15 or 20 reps and we get discouraged. And the truth is, I think the number's 10,000 before we ever master it. So I think tracking the reps will help you start to see more success. And I don't know how it is for your academy, but for mine, if someone shows up and they're wanting to work closed guard, I tell them to tell all their opponents, look, I'm starting in the closed guard, and if you don't want to start in the closed guard, then I'm just going to find a different partner. But I have to be able to work on my closed guard because that's where I'm focusing at for this month is getting a better closed guard. So if you don't want to work that, like we'll just find a different partner. But and normally people are pretty understanding with that. Like, okay, this person's working this, and they'll either work with it or they won't.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps or not because it's still hard to tell your exact
Absolutely.
environment.
Yeah.
But
I've done a couple open mats, and there's a few guys that come from different gyms, and I feel like they're just in there like it's a competition. They're ready to smash, and I kind of avoid that because I end up sore and hurt after that.
yeah, 100%. Like I said, I think the big thing I want you to try to work on from just talking with you is communicate with your training partners and don't be
Okay.
afraid to tell them the truth. Don't be afraid to tell them where you're at, what's going on and what you're working on and what you want to get better at because if you can say it, if you can say, "Look, I'm working on defeating the knee shield. I'm working on passing the guard." And that's all I'm working on it'll allow your brain to like stop seeing the 50,000 million other things going on in the sport in your world and it will allow you to just hyper focus on that one area and you'll be amazed after a month how much better you're at in that one area compared to just listening to all the other crazy stuff going on around you.
Yes.
So I hope that helps, but I really enjoyed this call and like I said, if there's something you need, send me a message and please send me the video of what you do for a living because I'd like to watch it. And I'll keep you
Okay.
posted on everything else and just whatever you need, let me know.
I appreciate it.
All right. I hope you have a great day.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Chris.
Bye.
All right. That was that was an enjoyable call. It's funny because when I make these calls or I do these things, I have no clue where they're gonna go. Zero clue of what's gonna happen or what's gonna be take place. He could literally tell me to go f off on the phone, and that's just what it is. We're not gonna edit it. But to me, I heard somebody else's life story and somebody else's journey and where they're at in this world, and that was exciting. So that will end episode 5 of BJJ Boost Podcast. If you want to be part of BJJ Podcast, sign up for your one-on-one coaching call. Otherwise, I highly recommend you download the app on iOS or Google Play. Start holding yourself accountable. Start being honest with yourself and start getting your life and your jiu-jitsu to the level that you want it at and stop existing, doing the motions and saying, I don't know what I want to learn today. Be intentional, and that will end episode 5. Thank you guys.